Mixed Feelings is a shameful program containing foul language, tasteless humor, and unpopular opinions that should be taken with a grain of salt. In other words, please calm down and don't take this show too seriously. These bitches really aren't that important, so getting all worked up over their stupid asses is probably a waste of time. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Couple of mixed up girls in a mixed up world, and if they weren't both nuts they'd lose their minds. It's such a crazy ordeal having these mixed feelings.
And welcome to episode 20 of Mixed Feelings Podcast. I'm Mandy.
I'm Cassie. Hey guys, what's going on? What's up? All right, this is actually an episode that's pissing me the fuck off because it's a redo. We usually don't like to do redos, but
No, we hate redos.
I went to edit the show and everything was fucking gone. So I had a small existential crisis and then got my shit together and was like, Mandy, come back over. We got to re-record. So
here we are.
So here we are. But it's okay. It's cool. So let's go ahead and go into some recent happenings. A couple of updates. Our YouTube videos. First up on the list is our YouTube videos are going well. And it's like, no, they're not.
No, they're not at all.
This is like the session from hell because one of my cameras broke, so I had to get like the backup camera for Mandy so she looks all, well, her camera quality is a little better than mine, so it's all mismatched. So that was the thing. We had to like finagle all of that shit.
We're ghetto rigged right now, but we're working.
It'll be okay. All the planets will soon align. And my cheese and chakras will get their shits together. But until then, I'm fucking freaking out. We do have plans in place to do more of the game times because we got a lot of positive feedback from you guys on the crazy-ass game.
Everybody was just happy to see us get tortured,
I know.
think.
They just liked seeing you eat the lemon.
That's the worst thing ever.
Seeing me play the butt drums. Some booty bongos.
Those were the highlights.
The highlight reel.
Yeah.
Big highlight reel.
No, because they're all going to be my horrible face from the lemon.
I thought your face was okay. It wasn't that horrible.
Well,
It was an acceptable face for eating a fucking lemon.
one of my eye muscles like immediately closed and I couldn't open it, so I was just like,
Oh.
yeah. I was like Sloth from
I'm
Goonies.
all icky because I was just running around trying to put everything together and I didn't even like wipe the sweat off my forehead. Like I literally like ran in circles like a maniac, plugging all the shit in and fighting with the fucking
Gotta
thing.
dab my brows.
I know. I had to.
That's
It was
okay.
Also in new development, we're now on, in addition to all the other platforms you can find our show on, we're also on the
Couch Party.
app. Yeah, at the Google Play Store. And there you will find many other shows that are up and coming just like us. Obviously, the Couch Party podcast, that's kind of their thing. Our buddies, the Drunken Dork podcast, the Grime Lords, Project Archivist, and many more. And more are getting added to the roster all the time. So go ahead and download it. It's free. You might find some shows that you like that you hadn't heard before. That's pretty cool. Give them a try.
Yeah.
All right. And now on to some personal recent happenings, not show related. So... y'all remember all those scary-ass marks on the back of my neck not too long ago that were in that weird pattern?
Yeah.
So I came across a friend on Facebook, a guy that I used to work with in Kentucky when I worked at GameStop. And I was like, oh, hey. And I added him as a friend again. I was like, I remember you. You were my pal. And then I started looking at his pictures, and I was like, oh, shit. And he had a picture of those marks on his shoulder, and he never knew what they were either. They just kind of faded away.
How long ago was it?
His was before mine. His was like in October of 2015. And so he had his first. And when I added him and I tagged him on the picture, I was like, what the fuck, Ryan? And then he's like, are you trying to tell me that you took this picture after I already posted mine? I'm like, well, yeah, but I didn't unfriend him maliciously. Like I got rid of all my personal accounts and just started up the podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I mean, I haven't seen your page in forever because I got rid of my Facebook and stuff. And he's like, oh, shit. So we started talking to each other, and he has all these weird things that have been happening to him lately, like weird deja vu type things. And I don't know, it might just be ringworm, but it's really well-organized ringworm if it's ringworm. That's
yeah,
all I'm
our really
saying.
dear friend from California
Yeah.
who was supposed to have this...
Yeah, I reached out to you in my time of need, Sofa King podcast.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
supposed to be a
"Help."
conspiracy theorist debunker, and Cassie was like, please help me. And all he said was, nope, looks like ringworm, case closed, party's over. I was like...
Nothing to see here, folks.
I know.
I'm like, yes, there is.
I know, I'm like, where's the
Everything's all messed
clues? Where are the fucking clues?
So if you all have any idea what the fuck that shit might be, I'll go ahead and put pictures in the show notes again just to remind you guys of how creepy that show was.
And don't tag me in it because I'm scared of aliens.
I know, Mandy's scared of everything. So what's been going on with you other than me reconnecting with an old friend / abductee victim?
Besides doing double duty on podcast.
God. I guess there are worse things that you could have double duty of.
Yeah, no, there definitely are.
But it still sucks because we put hard work into it.
There are, and it's weird to talk about the same. This is the thing. Like, we have topics that we always definitely want to cover because we don't write out exactly what we're going to say, but we have like a list of topics we're going to go over.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like say the same thing twice and make it feel good. But this is only the second time we've ever had to do this, and the last time really worked out well. So I don't think this will be a problem.
I think it's easier in situations like the agenda we have coming up because we have a lot of personal stories that we're going to tell. So it's not something where, I mean, we've told them before. So
yeah, it's not that bad. But not too much crazy has been going on with me. My semester's almost over at school. This coming up week is the last week. I take finals next weekend, and I went to a Lightning game last Thursday night and had so much fun.
Oh my God. I wish I could have gone.
I was yelling everything I could think of.
So classy.
Yes, I know. I was like, fucking Detroit, go back where you came from, you bunch of bankrupt pussies.
Stop it. You're going to get us killed.
It's only in hockey. I don't care about the city itself. I just hate the fucking Detroit Red Wings because they were fucking playing so dirty. They were beating all my peoples up. But it didn't matter because we still whooped them in the end.
You said something about Muriel last time.
Oh,
that she was a
yeah,
crazy
I went
person.
with my coworker, my friend Muriel. She's not just my coworker, like we're friends on the real tip too, but she doesn't really care about sports whatsoever, but she does like hockey. She's from New Jersey, so that's like
is she?
Yeah, that's just one thing that she's always
She has no
like.
accent. Or does she? And I just haven't
she's
caught it
from
yet.
South Jersey, so she's more like Philadelphia than like Jersey Shore, Jersey.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I took her and she started yelling all these really weird things because she's very intelligent, but she's in like, she has like one of those I can't even explain it, but I don't know. You know her. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. She's a weirdo. Like I wouldn't be
a weirdo.
I wouldn't be your friend if she wasn't weird because all my
Don't be
fucking
mean,
friends are
Miriam.
weird. I'm weird.
But that's what makes us fun.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not friends with people who aren't like quirky and like have funny things about them. But so this was her like insult because it went scoreless the first 2 periods and we didn't even score the game-winning point until 2 minutes into or 2 minutes left in the third period. And she was yelling, "Get these grandmas some shopping carts. They're picking out fruit." And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? Picking out fruit? Like, and then she also said something that was like some weird, obscure theater reference. And I was like, I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment. I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was like, I don't even know what you're saying. And she goes, "It's okay. No one can hear me. We're way up in the rafters. I can say whatever I want to." And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, that's fine.
But
so we had a really good time.
Those are better than just the plain old insults.
Oh yeah, no, it was
that come off the
hilarious.
fly.
We were cracking up on Friday because I was like, I don't even remember what you were saying, but I remember I was drinking my fucking $14 beer and like it was like the lifeblood because I was like, this better be the best beer I've ever had in my fucking
That's pretty
life.
expensive.
Oh,
did it
speaking
come
of
in like
beer,
a cool thing? Like
no, it was just a 24
I feel
ounce
like
can.
if they charge you more than $10 for a beer, it should at least come in a cool cup you could take home.
Listen, let me just tell you something that happened to me yesterday.
Oh, damn.
That this didn't make it on the first podcast, but when because we had our family cookout yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we went on like a social media hiatus and
Yeah.
just had like family cookout time. I don't know if I even want to talk about that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what happened before because it ties into what our dear friends in Tennessee had to say about my Bush experience. Because
your Bush Light.
Yes,
not
Bush Light,
Busch
excuse
Light.
me. But I will drink regular Bush if I have to.
I was talking about pubic hair.
Oh, no, BUSCH, excuse me, for all the fucking dirty minds out here in America and all over the world.
I'm leading the way. I'm leading the pack.
Okay, so by our house, there's a plaza, and it has a Walgreens and a Walmart grocery store in it. Mm-hmm. So I was driving through, and I passed the Walgreens on my way to Walmart because I was going to get a couple, like, aluminum pans and stuff like that for the cookout.
Oh, when we had our shady charcoal transaction.
Yeah, well, it was before that. So on the sidewalk outside, they had one of those stand-up signs, and it said, as advertised, premium beer $8.99, 18-pack. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go there after I'm here. So I got what I needed at Walmart. I go into Walgreens, and it was one of the Walgreens that has a separate liquor section. So I go in there, and I'm like, well, where's the beer on sale? I go all the way to the back.
Oh no.
And it was the Natural Ice and Busch Light was marked as and I said, Even
That's
though
premium?
Yeah, I feel like our ideas of what's premium and what isn't is not really on the
either
level.
of those qualify as premium.
Yeah, I was
Not to hate on Bush or Natty Ice.
Well, no, but I was thinking like they would have like because it said domestic
like
premiums.
Dos
That's what
Equis
it said.
domestic?
Yeah, it said
Oh.
domestic premium beer. So I was thinking it would just be like the regulars, like
Yeah.
Budweiser, Michelob, whatever. So I was just gonna get an 18-pack because I was like $8.99. You can't beat that. So
Can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah, so I went in there and they're like, oh, well, you can have this Natty Ice that's usually $5.99, but we're charging $8.99 today for it. And I was like, ugh. I was so mad. I just like closed the door and left.
No.
And I had to walk back to Walmart to get fucking real beer. But
Oh,
yeah,
no.
so that was just.
Yeah, and then you drove back through because I was at Publix and you were at the Walmart thing, and I bought the charcoal, and I wanted to give it to you because I'm always on CPT.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always on
Oh,
color
late
people
ass.
time. I know, I'm always late. So I was like, if I have the charcoal and I'm late, then I'm going to fuck up the whole picnic. So you come and get it from me.
So I rolled up on you in the parking lot and said, hey, you got any charcoal?
Got the charcoal.
You got the
I'm
hard
like-
stuff?
I'm like, I got the goods. And I like shoved the whole giant bag of it in your window. All right.
So we got some shout outs.
Yeah, we got a lot of them, and they're all from Michigan. Actually, one could not be from Michigan, but he asked to remain anonymous.
So don't get mad at me about my Detroit hate. It's just playoff
She's
season right now.
She's just mad at the hockey Detroit guys.
I still like you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you haven't been keeping up with the scoop, we have a Mixed Feelings Mafia, and every time we get someone that wants to be in the mafia, we beat you in with a gang name that we make up for you.
Yeah, we verbally beat you.
So we have several chapters right now in a couple different states. Most recently, we created the Michigan Madea-cons. You'll just have to go back and listen to episode 19.
Yeah,
to
we're not going to
understand.
review everything.
No. But long story short, their mortal enemy is Madea, Tyler Perry. So we had a few more people from Michigan write us, and they wanted to be in on the gang as well. So we have, in future Cassie, as I'm going ahead and saying the names and the podcast names, go ahead and put up where you can find them at on the screen. So today we're going to be beating in the following members of the Mixed Feelings Mafia and giving them gang names. We're going to have Ranty from the Retail Rant podcast, and you can find him on the Couch Party app, Podbean, and Twitter at the Retail. It's at @the_retail_rant on Twitter. Then we also have Tom and Jake from the Drunken Dork podcast. They're also on the Couch Party app, and you can find them on their website, drunkendorkpodcast.wordpress.com. And I was able to find them on just about every application as well, iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff when I just searched for them. So they should be everywhere for the most part, and so should the Retail Rant. But you can find Jake and Tom with the Drunken Dork podcast on Twitter at the Drunken Dork, all one word. And then we also got requests for names from Scab D, Gene Techman, and Lori Wild from the Fake Ass Radio Show. They're also in Michigan. They're not on the Couch Party app, but I would make a recommendation for them to maybe reach out and see about getting on there. You can find them on SoundCloud, iTunes as well, and their Twitter handle is @FakeAssRadio. So, you guys, are you ready for your gang names? Because they're coming. You want to take any of them?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Ranty, the ranty bastard from the Retail Rant podcast, since he asked to remain anonymous and could not give us his state because he's probably on the run from the feds, we place him in our Michigan chapter 2, but he has an important job there. Since being anonymous is kind of his thing, at the end of his podcast, he always tells you to always wear someone else's name tag.
Yeah. That is great advice.
So Ranty No Name Bastino is henceforth our new go-to guy when it comes to keeping it under the radar. He is in charge of the books, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Ranty No Name makes all Mixed Feelings Mafia members new IDs, passports, birth certificates, and social security cards.
Yeah, you guys.
And AARP membership cards for those discounts if you're looking for that too.
Yeah, all right, Ranty. Now, next up, we have Tom and Jake from the Drunken Dork podcast. So we're going to have Tommy, the mole Drunkoni, and Jake, the delivery man Dorkelly. And they're just a half an hour from Canada, and therefore responsible for trafficking our 200 proof champagne, which I believed it was being named God's Vagina by the Hilltop Hoochers in Tennessee. So they're trafficking our 200 proof champagne into Canada.
I still haven't gotten even a
sale.
taste of that yet.
I know, y'all need to. It's probably just lighter fluid. So our guys from the Drunken Dork, they have built a very effective underground tunnel system, and the entrance is under a used comic book store. They actually have a book club on their show where they review books and comics and such. And one of the last ones that I listened to, they were reviewing this weird, smutty sci-fi book, and it was fucking hilarious to listen to them talk about it. Once we do have a Canadian chapter established, though, we can work on some Canadian goods that we can smuggle back into the good old USA and sell them on the streets.
Like Canadian bacon.
Yeah. All right. Do you want this one? You want me to take this one?
You go this one.
All right. Scav D, Lori Wilde, and Gene Techman from the Fake Ass Radio Show, also out of Michigan. We're going to have Dmitry, the headhunter, Skavanovsky. He's going to be kind of a Russian mafioso guy.
We need more Russians.
I know. And then we have, Dmitry, the headhunter, Skavanovsky, is going to be in charge of seeking out recruits for our underground clan. That's going to go around robbing all the Tyler Perry fans. And then we're going to have Gene, the sensei, Tekmanuchi. He's basically Tatsu from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that teaches all the Foot Clan recruits how to fight and shit. And then, the sensei is wise and skilled in kung fu, but also hot-headed, and every now and then we suffer a casualty because he just kills a motherfucker because I won't listen.
And we gotta lay him to rest.
Yeah. And then finally, he don't fucking play. Finally, we have Lori Switchblade Wildino, and she's in charge of training up all of our female recruits on the Michigan Madea-cons. And she's teaching them how to be sexy, deadly spies. Fuck yeah. So she's a 6th-degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And she also happens to know a lot of badass tricks with a switchblade. So, whatever Michael Jackson had going on that Beat It video, it ain't shit. It ain't shit compared to Lori, because she'll cut your ass up. All right, so you guys got your names.
Yep, so that's our mafia for now.
I highly suggest checking out every last one of those podcasts because they're super cool. Thanks for reaching out to us, guys.
Because they're our friends.
Welcome to the family. Go out there and do some figurative crimes.
You know what I realized recording this sober as opposed to Friday night when I was on one?
Oh, boy.
I couldn't fucking read or talk Friday.
Really?
Remember I was like saying things and they weren't even coming out right? And then Gene, I thought you were going to call him Gene the Machine.
Oh, yeah, that's
Remember?
right.
Because I was like, I could have sworn that was going to say the machine. And it clearly says Techman, but I was kind of fucked up Friday night. I'm like, I know what's happening.
I know what this
You
says.
can't tell me nothing. But now I see the error of my ways.
You dummy. That's okay. All right, so let's get into our real topics. So you want to take it off, man?
Well, yeah, but you know what I kind of realized? That this isn't so much a mixed girl issue, it's an issue in general, because what we ended up talking about more was like ageism, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I have really ever personally been a victim of blatant racism. If somebody felt hate towards me just because of my race, they didn't make it very clearly known. I've never, I mean, if that's what they were going for, they didn't make it obvious enough, because I've never really felt that way. But I have, being a young mom, I definitely get those times where people I feel like don't take me seriously or don't think I'm responsible or whatever, especially with other parents.
Yeah.
Because most of my children's friends their parents are almost old enough to be my parents. Like,
yeah, that makes it weird, because like with Stevie's 14 and I'm 31, which I was very young when I had her, and I also look like I'm 12, so that makes it a little worse. But I get all kinds of like just disrespect in general, and it's like, why do you assume I'm not a good mom just because I'm young? I got my shit together. I'm taking care of my kid. Fuck you. Tried to go to the Booster Club meeting and they were all shitty to me. I hate that woman.
Yeah. I haven't gotten people like blatantly rude, but I have noticed that once I meet, not all, but there's probably been 3 in the last couple years where I meet my kids' parents, and they always insist on having the play dates at their house. Like I feel like they think that I'm not gonna like watch their kids or something.
What the fuck?
I'm like, shit, I let these kids, they're freaking 7 and 10. They're still alive.
Yeah,
I ain't killed them yet. Yeah, I ain't killed them yet. What the hell am I gonna do to your kid? Like, but it's annoying because I'm fucking responsible as shit when it comes to my kids.
I know, me too. I'm a good ass.
It's really annoying to me, and I mean, I also think they kind of judge me because yeah, I'm young. I have tattoos. I have piercings. I have blue hair. But like,
that doesn't
I
mean
fucking no. It doesn't matter to me.
mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything to me either. But I think that, well, it's a really mixed bag when I go to school functions and stuff, because it's either really old, like sedated people who had kids really old.
Sedated?
Yeah,
like on Paxil and shit.
Well, I don't know, like just real like old like low energy old people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? People who had kids like a little too late in life, or there are the young parents who you can tell they come fucking to the first grade concert and they're stoned out of their mind and shit like that. And it's like, I don't fit into either one of those categories.
There's not a lot of happy mediums out there. Like
well, no, and I mean there are because I was sitting next to one parent at the first grade concert whose daughter is in my daughter's class, and she's a hairdresser. She had funky hair. She had like undercut. She had tattoos all over the place, and she was super nice. And her daughter was super cute and like looked like she was well taken care of. But I feel like the assholes who have kids too young and like don't give up anything to be a parent, yeah, they make everybody look bad. And I'm like, I'm not like you at all, but I feel like people lump me into that group because of the way I look or because of my age. And I'm like, I could fucking watch all your kids. Well, bunch of assholes.
So my daughter, she is in music theater, and she's about to be in the Mary Poppins play.
Thespian nerd.
She is a thespian nerd. So we had a booster club meeting with, all of the parents, and we were talking about fundraising and all this stuff, and it was during one of the first after school rehearsals for the play. So they asked us to go into this room, and they asked the kids to go into this other room. But for whatever reason, Stevie didn't, she already finished everything she was supposed to do, so she was like, they said I can just come sit in here with you. I was like, okay, cool. So we both walk over to this room we're supposed to be in, and the lady who was in charge of everything, like someone's old-ass, crotchety fucking mom, she looked at me and she was like, can I help you? What are you doing? What are you all doing in here? This is the booster meeting. What are you doing? And I'm just looking at her. I'm like, I'm here for the booster club meeting. And she just rolled her eyes at me, wouldn't look at me, wouldn't have any eye contact with me. She was just really shitty. And I was like, okay, what the fuck ever. And we sit down. And first, let me explain. I know that I look young. My daughter is about the same height as me, and she's white with blonde hair. So I get it that we don't necessarily immediately tip you off as being mother and daughter. But this lady was really just shitty and disrespectful. And I sat down in a folding chair. I actually had to go get a folding chair because there weren't enough. And Stevie's sitting next to me, and this woman starts passing around papers, and it's the agenda and all of this paperwork we have to fill out for donation things and stuff. She completely passed me up and wouldn't give me one. And I'm just watching her go by okay. And so I stand up, I made a scene out of it. I stood up and walked through the aisles between the chairs and went up to this lady, and I was like another lady who she handed the stack of paperwork to. I was like, could I get one of those? Because I didn't get one. And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And she just gave it to me. I'm just looking at this bitch the whole time when I'm like, motherfucker, I got those fucking papers, bitch.
Can't keep me down.
And so I go back and we're just doing our thing, and I listen, and they're making all these stupid fucking suggestions for making money for the booster club, and then stupid stuff like selling candy bars and shit. I'm like, why don't you all do an acting theater? Why don't you do a dinner theater or something? Let the kids do improv or practice all their lines that they're learning up on stage and get them used to being on stage, and just make some cheap ass fucking spaghetti and sell tickets to it or something. I'm like, that way everybody wins. And they're like, that's a fantastic idea. Of course I never did it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, I mean, it is acting. Why don't you have them act to raise money? Because they're trying to fucking act in the acting group for the fucking music theater.
And I'm trying to act like I give a fuck about being here.
So then at the end of everything, they're like, okay, if you want to go ahead and be a part of this, of the booster club, go ahead and fill out this paperwork so you can do your background checks so that you can transport kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. And
oh yeah, to be a volunteer.
We donate $10, and I was like, okay, that's fine. So there wasn't any tables to fill everything out on, so I had to literally turn around and put the paper in my chair and kneel and write on it. That bitch comes up one more time and she says, what are you doing, child? And I turned around and I just looked at her, and I handed her my $10. I was like, here is your money for the booster club. And I filled out the rest of my paper and I gave it to her, and she just wouldn't look at me. That's when it clicked with her that I was Stevie's parent. She thought I was a student in there just being shitty and wasting her time. And I hope she catches on fire. I hate that woman. I've never been so mad in my life. And I was determined not to say anything. I was going to see how long it took her to catch on that I was a parent, because I wasn't going to correct her. I was going to wait and see how long she was rude to me, because if you're rude to me like that because you think I'm a student, why are you talking to students like that in the first place? Why are you talking to other people's kids
why are you working with kids if you obviously don't even like them?
Who the fuck do you think you are, talking to me like an asshole little ragamuffin kid that's in there doing some bad shit? I'd say if I was a kid, I was on my pretty good behavior in there. God damn it.
There's this fucking douchebag at cheerleading who acts like that too. She weighs about 3,200 pounds and she never wears shoes.
Oh, you
but
sent me pictures of her.
Yeah,
the
but
one
she
with the
thinks,
cankles. She don't even have cankles. It goes straight from her thighs into
yes,
her
and I
ankles.
feel so bad for her daughter on the team because she thinks that she's the coach. She is like one of those obnoxious ass cheer moms. She thinks that she's God's gift to cheerleading. And I'm like, first of all, obviously you're like taking out whatever you couldn't achieve in your younger years on all these kids, because she'll go in there and go off on kids like, no, they're not doing this right. And you see, they're all off. They're off beat on this section and this and that. And I'm like, can you sit the fuck down? Because you're not involved in this.
This isn't that serious. These kids are like fucking 7 years
Yeah,
old.
it's not that serious, and I don't pay to have your ass talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? But yeah, every week she thinks that she's like, and I want to say, bitch, you need to go home.
What's that woman's name? Mama Boo Boo on
Honey Boo, Mama Bear or whatever the fuck her name
Mama
is.
Fat. I don't know what the
From
fuck
Honey
her
Boo
name
Boo
is.
Child or whatever. What's it
Fucking-
called? Here
name-
comes Honey Boo Boo.
I don't know. I always made a point not to watch it. I've just seen pictures and memes.
I've only seen one episode, and it was actually really fucking funny, but I didn't keep watching it. But
can't
she
support
had a
anything
pig,
like that.
and she wanted it. It was the pig's name was Glitzy, I think, and it was a boy, but she said that it was a gay pig, and she put makeup on it, and she was like, "You can't tell this pig how to live its life." And so we always say that at work because we watched the YouTube clip at work one day a long time ago, like 4 years ago when it first came out. So that's our thing. Like whenever we're acting up, we'll be like, "You can't tell this pig how to live our life."
Oh, that little pig just wants to be gay.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
He
I
just
mean,
wants
I
to wear his
feel like-
makeup and date other male pigs. Leave him alone.
And I also, we didn't discuss this very much before we went into it, but I was going to say that I feel like 2 and 3 could just be one big shenanigan. Because 2 is just kind of weird, because I feel like people are getting real fucking creepy on the internet. All these
I
weird...
feel like I am one of the creepy people on the internet.
Well, how come all these weird naked accounts are
maybe
following
not like
us?
that. Not that weird.
Like, what the... I don't know. It's
I
weird.
know, you have to watch out for them. Those are the robots.
Well, I don't
the
even know why
sexy
those
robots.
people are on fucking Instagram, because you can go to Pornhub for free. If you want to see porn, there's places to do that at.
I don't know.
I don't really want to see that on Instagram.
Because there's all these live cam bitches that are out there like, come look at my vagina. Girl.
My vagina.
My vagina.
Yeah, so they're fucking creepy. I've gotten some weird, like, direct messages and, like, weird people following me on Snapchat.
I mean, I'm not anti-porn or anything. Do whatever the fuck you
Oh,
want
no,
to do.
I don't care.
But get out of my... Get out.
I don't care. Watch all the fucking
Stop
porn you
following
want to,
me.
and
I
then
feel
some.
like you're going to give me viruses in more ways than one when you're
But
up in the DMs chatting with me.
Well,
and
that's what I'm
following
saying.
us
It's like
and
if I
stuff.
wanted to look at porn on the internet, I would go seek that out. You don't need to come find me on Instagram.
it's
'cause
easy
that's
to
not,
find. We don't need it
That's what I'm
solicited.
saying. Like, that's not what I'm doing on there. So, and like half the time, my kids will be like sitting next to me and stuff,
Yeah,
and
that's
like
not good.
I'll just be like scrolling on the couch or whatever. So I don't want like all this crazy shit popping up. So I don't know. The weird naked robots need to go on.
If you're a
somewhere.
sexy robot following us, please stop. Because
Yeah, we're not your friends.
I mean, I'm not against sexy robots, but not like that.
Fucking
Quit
Decepticons.
it. You're making my life hard. I haven't really had any personal weird things happen like in my messages or anything like that, like creepy people, but I usually nip that in the bud pretty quick. If someone starts talking shit, I'll just be like, nah, man. I'll block you.
Well, I haven't gotten any dick pics, so Caitlin says that I'm doing something wrong, but
I
I'm
haven't
not
either.
looking for.
Now we're gonna get them because we've admitted that we haven't.
Well,
had
no,
any.
because
Don't
not
do
just
it.
that,
I
but
don't
like
wanna-
in general, I think I've gotten 3 dick pics in my whole life, like from real humans that I know. So I was like, well, who the because Caitlin was like, when I was single, I used to get dick pics left and right. I couldn't beat them off with a stick. So
I have this visual image of Caitlin
Caitlin
with,
just like Fruit Ninja.
yeah, just whipping up some hot dicks.
Well,
with a
yeah,
fucking
and I was
stick,
like, well, where the fuck am I gonna get them from? Like, I mean, who sends them? I don't know who's out there
playing
sending them.
softball, fucking hitting them through people's windows.
Yeah, and she was
shit.
like, she's all mad at me because she's like, you're doing single all wrong. And I was
Aw.
like, I don't even know what that means. Get out of here.
I don't know how to be single. I've been non-single for so long. The funny thing is, I was talking about this not too long ago with somebody. Someone was asking how Justin and I came to like with him move in, like for him to move in with me, how long we dated, stuff like that. And I was like, well, actually, and it might sound kind of bad saying it, but like he and I started dating. And he came, like, after a couple weeks of him dating, like, he came over and stayed at my house. And we got snowed in, because I was in Kentucky at the time. And he just never really went home after that. he just started bringing more stuff over.
Well,
But I didn't tell him no. I liked having him around. But that was funny.
that's how you get them most
I
of
was
the time.
like, actually, we never agreed on him. He just never went home one day.
Well,
All right.
we also were going to talk about some Because I feel like I have this horrible...
You have a crazy story, and mine's not crazy, so I want to tell mine first.
Well, no, what I was going to say, I wasn't going to tell my story right this second, but I was going to say,
okay.
I feel like I have so much weird, awkward, like opposite sex material to talk about because I never have encounters.
Talk, like with Dr. Drew.
Yeah, I never have encounters with people of the opposite sex that are like what I would think are normal or like healthy or good or like they're always fucking awkward and it's probably me because I'm the common factor in all of these things. It's probably me. I'm gonna say that, but
you have some weird random shit that happens to you. I've had weird shit too, but you have a lot. Like sometimes I just listen to you and I'm like,
I know, and you're like, you have so many stories, and I was like, I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't have these stories because then this stuff wouldn't fucking be happening to me.
Why
but
is this real life?
I don't know.
Okay, so the topic at hand was just crazy relationship blunders, bad things that happened, and like just horrible things that your ex has done to you.
Like what was like
or just bad breakup situations in general.
What was a moment to where you were like, this needs to be cut completely off, all the way off, turn it off, it's done.
So when I'm gonna start with mine because it's a good one, but yours is. I'm gonna have to like get a napkin and dab my forehead.
I fucking hate my story.
So when me and Stevie's father first really broke up, I moved to Texas. I was living in Kentucky, but then I went to Texas. And I was single for a while. And eventually, I met this guy. His name was Nick. I don't want to talk too bad about him because he actually passed away not long ago. But he was really bad off. Like, it was a drunk driving accident. And it was very self-destructive what happened. But we were together for like a year. And it got to a point in our relationship where I was like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't remember what happened, but he just wasn't going anywhere. Like, he was always...
Yeah, it fizzled out.
Yeah, he had like a lot of dead-end jobs and just wasn't good with money. And it was one of those relationships that I felt like it was going to end up with us being on meth or something, living in a fucking hotel if it wasn't kept going the way it was. But, well, I mean, maybe not that extreme, but that's like the type of person that he was turning out to be. And that actually is the type of person he turned out to be. So I pick good ones. But towards the end there, I moved out. We had an apartment together. I moved back in with our aunt and uncle Randy and Susan. If y'all remember Randy. Daggone, badass.
She gonna come over and say, that badass girl, damn.
I love Randy so much. He's like my spirit animal. But so I moved back in with them, and it was sad and everything, and then we just kind of got over it. But Nick kept coming over to the house after I broke up with him. Like, it was over. It was like, my stuff is gone. I'm leaving. Goodbye. And he would show up at the house at Randy and Susan's and just like come sit on the couch and watch TV and drink a beer and like hang out and smoke cigarettes in the garage with Randy. And I'm like, didn't we just break up? What are you doing here? Like, it was literally one of those things where like I would just come downstairs and go to the kitchen to get a drink and he'd be like sitting on the couch. And I'm like, who keeps letting you in? Why is this happening? So this went on for like a week or two. And it was like, he refused to accept that we broke up. He thought I broke up with the apartment and not him or something.
You didn't want to live there. That's okay, baby. I'll come to you.
It's okay.
That's
okay,
all right.
girl.
I can travel.
So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And like, I remember being really mad one day because I told him, I was like, just go home. What are you doing? Just go home. And I went upstairs and I was like, fuck it. I'm taking a shower. I don't even want to deal with this. And I come out of the shower and he's like, getting some stuff out of my room, like his shirt or some kind of shit, and he like walks by and he's like, shows how much you care, and just like storms off really dramatic and tears in his eyes, and I'm like, the fuck just happened? And I go down, like I'm walking downstairs like, what just happened? And Jenny's on the couch laughing her ass off, and she says, Randy just broke up with Nick. I'm like, what? And so I went out in the garage, and there's Randy next to his Mustang, that he's like his patented Mustang that he's been working on forever. And he's like, man, I just had to tell him, what the fuck are you doing here, man? She don't want you no more. What are you doing here? Get out. And I was like, thank you, Randy.
Okay, and after last time recording this, we decided that we want Randy to break up with all of our boyfriends for us in the future. Yes. Hopefully you don't have to go through that, but we probably will have to.
We can start a Randy breakup service.
Yeah, where he just comes to your front door.
They mean it. Or he means it and they get it.
Yeah, he's fucking speaking their language, so.
I thought I broke
we
up
need
with
to start
him pretty
renting
good,
them out.
But I guess not. I didn't break up with him good enough.
I thought I broke up with him real good.
Not good enough. So that's like my weird breakup story. It didn't work the first time. Randy had to do it for me.
Hey, at least it got done.
He's the reinforcer.
That's all we care about is it got done in the end.
Without any of those. Without any punches. All right. Let me get ready.
This story is by far the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to me, which is saying something because literally ridiculous things happen to me on a pretty regular basis. There's so many times I'm just like, why is this happening? What is happening right here? Why is this happening? Why me? Of course me. So,
Why me?
I know. So,
Why is it always?
I think from like October to December, I had kind of like been hanging out with my ex-boyfriend that I hadn't seen in a long time. Like we broke up like 4 years ago. It was a long time ago. But like randomly, one of us will call the other and be like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. And then we start hooking up for a while. So this was one of those times where we definitely were not back together as boyfriend and girlfriend, but we were hooking up on a pretty regular basis. So
testing the waters.
Yeah.
Seeing if you all could get along with each
yeah,
other.
and I was like, you know, a lot has changed in the last 4 years since we've been together for both of us. And I was like, maybe he grew up, maybe this, maybe that. So we were just like hanging out and seeing where it went. So it only took me 2 months to realize it's going nowhere. That's where it's going. Nowhere fast. So
on a train to Nowheresville.
yeah, so this was like the last time that I physically saw him was on the day of New Year's Eve. So that was the last time I saw him. And then we didn't really talk much after that. A couple times we talked, but I hadn't seen him at all. So this was like the middle of January. I get a text message from him at work saying, I need you to call me. I need to talk to you. I'm surprised you haven't brought it up. And I'm like, and I thought this is what I thought, that he wanted to talk about why I just like went ghost on him and stopped talking to him. And I was like, well, I mean, what is there really to say? And he was like, are you kidding? Like, I can't believe you didn't bring this up. And so I
know what? For the longest time, I thought he was pissed off. Like when he wouldn't tell you during that day when you were telling me what was going on. You're like, it's making me crazy. I don't know what's going on. I thought he was pissed because he bought you that expensive ass Ninja blender and you stopped talking to him.
Listen,
I was certain that was it for a while. I was like, I bet he's gonna come fucking take that blender back.
he better not.
Ain't no take backs.
He sure better not. Especially after this shit I'm about to tell you that he pulled. Well, not you, because you know, but our dear listeners.
Well, I knew from day one, so
yeah.
But
so,
it's not gonna get any less hilarious.
So I'm the kind of person where it makes me violently angry when someone's like, "Oh, hey, guess what? Never mind. No,
I don't
forget
like
it. Just
that
forget
either.
it. I'm not." And you're like, "What the fuck were you gonna say?" They're like, "It's not important. Forget it.
Just tell
I don't
me.
care if it's not important. At this point, you sparked my interest. I want to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Say it." And it makes me crazy when people won't say it at that point. So he would not say it. This went on from like Tuesday to Friday afternoon, I think.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah. And finally I was like, listen, either tell me what you're talking about right now or leave it alone. Like, just stop fucking texting me. And he was like, well, I really wanted to, and this was all because I wouldn't call him because I'm so fucking stubborn. All he wanted me to do was call him on the phone. But he was making me crazy. So at that point, when it was like I should just call him, I was so mad at him for fucking wasting all my time all during the week. So I didn't want to talk to him on the phone. So finally,
Well, he also just made it seem like he was baiting you into a phone call to like give you shit.
Yeah, and I still had no idea.
And
what
no
the
one wants to walk into that.
Exactly, and he wouldn't even give me a hint
minefield.
of what it was. He just kept saying that it was something that I should know, and I can't believe it, and blah blah blah. And then he was saying all this. And one time he said, I just want you to know the crazy thing about it is I was still willing to be with you after I found out. So I'm like, did somebody say that I was like hooking up with somebody at the same time as you? Because that's not true at all. That's not fucking true. So he was like, well, sort of. So I'm like, what the fuck? So finally, we fast forward through all this bullshit.
It
And
was
me,
like 6th grade is when
oh
it
my
felt
god,
like.
it was
felt
so
like fucking
immature.
middle school,
It was
everything that
so
happening.
fucking immature. And finally, the last thing I said to him, which made him actually tell me what it was, I said, listen, don't ever fucking text me again unless you're gonna say what the fuck you're talking about, because all you've done all week is piss me off, and I don't ever want to talk to you again. So, not that it was even that serious, but I was that frustrated with the situation. So finally, he was like, okay, I'm gonna call you, and I'll leave the information on your voicemail.
What kind of shit is that?
So he calls me from a private number.
That's not necessary.
It was so dramatic.
You know his number.
Dude, this was like a fucking
You knew it was
telenovela,
gonna be
like
him.
Spanish soap opera, what he was doing. So over the top dramatic. So he leaves it on my voicemail, and he has a very low, like, he doesn't speak up. You have to, you're like, what the fuck are you saying?
Hey man, your girl,
Yeah.
what you doing? What's going
Yeah.
on?
Okay. So I get
Like
this
that.
message. I'm at work. It's, mind you, past 4 o'clock. I want to say it's between 4:15 and 4:30 when I listen to the voicemail. I'm leaving for the weekend to go home, and it says, I just came out of the clinic, and you really need to go get yourself checked out if you know what's good for you. And I'm like, I couldn't hear what he was saying. I'm listening to it on the Bluetooth in my car. I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? So I take it off Bluetooth and I put my phone to my ear and I turn it all the way up. And I finally hear him say, I just came out of the clinic and you need to go get yourself checked out if you know what's good for you. And I'm like, what's he got a fucking, what, he got a cold or something? Like, it did not register in my head whatsoever. Because I've never been in this situation. It didn't even click to me for like 5 minutes. And then I was like, oh my God, this motherfucker's talking about an STD. So I call him at this point and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, oh, now you want to talk. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to talk now. What are you saying to me right now? He's like, let me just tell it. And of course he has to use all this shit that I got to look up on Urban Dictionary. I don't even know what the fuck he's saying. It's like, I got to get out my decoder ring to talk to him. And he's like, because he's a thug, by the way, if you guys didn't figure this out, he's like a fucking thug. So he's like, you know, I never thought it would be you to burn me up, girl, and all this stuff. And I still don't even know what he's talking about because I haven't had like a serious talk about STDs since I was in like 10th grade health class because I don't have unsafe sex. So it's never been something. I mean,
you go to your doctor once a year or more.
Yeah, I go get checked out like I'm supposed to every year. They've never said anything funky. So I never think that seriously about it because I don't put myself in situations to have to seriously ever worry about it. So he's calling me, telling me, and I'm like, so what exactly happened? He goes into this whole story, how it was burning when he peed. I'm still on the phone with him.
Yeah, so, you're holding the phone.
Because I'm so fucking mad. So he's telling me, so he's telling me I went to the fucking walk-in clinic because he doesn't have a job, so he doesn't have insurance. So we went to the free clinic. He told them his symptoms, and this fucking hot-ass nurse who fucking was too hot to trot was like, ooh, baby, your girl's stepping out on you. It sounds like... Yeah, so the nurse is accusing me of sleeping around and all this shit.
Yeah, because the thing is, you said they made him write down a list of people that he's slept with over the past 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I forget,
but wrote down you. So she's like,
and she was like, oh baby, it looks like boy, it looks like she's stepping out on you. And so he was so embarrassed, he said, and blah blah blah. And he also told me, which I forgot, I don't even think I told you this, that he was like, they made sure that they put out the magnums for me and said protect yourself.
So this nurse said, your girl's stepping out on you.
Boy, you better wrap up that big old dick and call me, is what she was saying pretty much. So I'm just floored because
I'd like to know what clinic this is.
The one in downtown Clearwater.
She probably needs to get fired. If she's listening to this, you just caused a breakup. Or no,
you didn't cause it because that bitch was already out.
Yeah.
But then he just pissed me off extra. So then he's saying all this stuff.
If he wasn't already out, then that would have been that situation right there. Like if you all had been getting along fine up until that point, that would have been like a relationship ender.
Well, yeah.
You have to listen to the whole story.
So I'm on the phone with him, and he's telling me that he went and he was having symptoms. He told them what the symptoms were, and these are the exact words out of his mouth. They treated me for chlamydia and gonorrhea, and I gave them blood. So, and then he's like, and so I had to take these 4 horse pills I just finished. Like, I'm all clear, but you really need to, this is what he said. Amanda, you can't be out in these streets like this. I just want you to protect yourself. Make sure.
In the streets.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's what I do on a regular basis. I just run out in the streets.
And I ain't in no streets.
Yeah, I'm just fucking in the streets all day long, unprotected. Because that's just what I do.
I keep putting my phone up too.
So he's saying all this stuff to me, and he's like dead serious. He's like, I swear to God, if it's not you, then I'm a medical anomaly and all that. Like saying all this shit, and I was like, listen, I swear to God, I have no idea how this possibly could have happened because I haven't had sex with anyone else in months, like literally months, and I just got a pap smear and everything was fine. Like everything's always fine. Yeah. I've never had an issue. So I was like, I gotta call you back. So it's 4:30. I hang up and call my doctor, my gynecologist, because you guys gotta see me. And they're like, well, we don't have, it's 4:30 on a Friday. We don't have anything until Tuesday. So I'm freaking out all weekend. Like, oh my God, what is going on?
That was like,
I thought my fucking life was, I mean, even though those are curable ones, like that was a big deal to me and it freaked me the fuck out. So I was freaking out. I was a total wreck all weekend. Finally go to the doctor Tuesday. It takes them 2 days to get my test results back. And they call, and I tell him what happened when I'm in there giving the sample. And he said he went in and got treated for this and that. And he goes, well, that's kind of weird. They treated him for both because they have different symptoms and like they should know which one it is and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know because I've never dealt with this. So I give him I do whatever I need to do, my tests. And when I leave there, I told him, I said, I just left my doctor. I'll let you know what they say. But my doctor said that like what you're saying doesn't really make sense. So maybe they didn't know what they were talking about at the clinic. So then he tells me, Well, I didn't get they didn't diagnose me with either of those things. They treated, because I said it was burning when I was peeing, so they just gave me medicine to cover it all.
So that nurse.
So come to find out, at the end of all this story, he didn't even have an STD, and neither did I, because we both, like, he finally got his blood work done because it was a free clinic, so it took like weeks to get his blood results back. But it only took me 2 days, and my doctor called and said, there's nothing wrong with you whatsoever. You don't have anything. And this amount of time that had passed, it had been like 3 weeks since we had seen each other and had sex. So anything that I could have had from him would have shown up on a test by then, they said. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then so he finally, a couple weeks later, gets his results back too and says, well, I don't have anything, but doesn't it mean anything that I was still willing to be with you after you burnt me up?
No!
No! It fucking doesn't, you motherfucking trucker!
After you burned him up, even after everything, after it was proven that neither of you had shit, you still burnt him up.
And he never fucking said sorry or anything for, like, first of all, he made me lose time at work. I had to make up hours at work. It cost me co-pays because I had to pay to go to the doctor and to go to LabCorp. And that was 2 days in a row that I had to take really long lunch breaks to get, because I was like, if this is something going on, I'm taking it care of it right now. Like, we're not playing around. So I was freaking out, running, and he's like, you know, it's always about fucking money with him. He's like, I'll reimburse you if that's what'll make you feel better. No, it won't make me feel better. You driving your fucking drug deal in Chrysler Pacific off the fucking bridge is what's going to make me happy, you son of a bitch.
Go get eat up by the hammerhead.
Yeah, I've never been
Tiger
so
shark.
mad at someone in my life. And for him to do that and not even ever say sorry. And you know what? I haven't heard a word from him since then. It's been complete crickets because he feels so stupid that he made this whole, I think I told everyone I know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I got an STD. Like, I was like, I'm never having sex again. I don't even care. I was crying. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't burn nobody up.
I ain't burned nothing.
But you know what? I wanted to fucking go Lisa Left Eye Lopez and burn his fucking house down.
Shit.
I didn't do it, but I sure as hell wanted to.
Put the thing on your,
Yeah, and like that, it really, that story really like embarrassed me that I would even be associated with someone who would like do that. So I haven't told many people. I've only like my close girlfriends know this story, but I haven't told anyone else. But I was thinking when I started telling my friends, 2 of them had stories that someone else had done the same thing to them, like lied about something like that, trying to get them back, or they were.
It's almost like the male version of the pregnancy scare.
Yeah,
you scare someone into thinking they got an STD and no one else is gonna want them now, but it's like, it's okay, girl. I got
yeah,
you.
and it's
I'll
like,
love
well,
you forever.
yeah, I'll still love you even though you did this to me. And I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't do anything to you, and I don't love you. So yeah, so I felt like I should share the story because
those were hoods that were attached to some middle fingers.
I'm sure that I
If you're
can't be
just
the only
listening.
person that this has happened to. So I just feel like it's a fucking skymey.
No, it's like
Slimy.
a cross between hold on.
It's a fucking slimy, low down, dirty thing to
Grimy,
do to people,
scummy,
and don't like. I don't
fucked
play
up in
about
general.
that. So I'm still mad about that when I think about it because that was the most ridiculous thing ever.
That was fucked up.
And like literally writing me page-long text messages of, it's so if you don't want to be with me, that's fine, but I just really want you to protect yourself, do this, do that. I don't need you to be my dad.
Okay.
You fucking idiot.
All right.
Because I'm not doing anything wrong, obviously, because this fucking cooch is clean as a whistle.
It's clean as a whistle. So there.
So there. So that's my fucking story.
And that is how
And
we're
I'm
going to
sticking
end
to
this
it.
episode. Gonna
And
go
I'm-
out with a bang.
And I'm fucking sick of these lying-ass motherfucking
Lying-ass
assholes.
tricks.
Yeah, old tricking-ass bitches. So, I guess that'll end our story
I don't
for
know.
today.
I kind of miss him because he got good Dave Matthews Band sometimes too.
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't fucking worth it for the bullshit I had to deal with. So,
which is
and you
not
know
a
what?
code
Well, you
word
know
for
what's fucked
anything.
up is I always thought that he would be like that one ex that like I never had hard feelings towards.
Yeah.
Because he's never done anything wrong to me. We just don't get along on that level until this. And now I'm like, literally, I hope I never see your face again. Like, I don't even want to see you driving in traffic. Which is kind of weird because we live like 2 miles apart, so, you know. But,
It's definitely a situation
yeah,
for sure.
he'll get his fucking day of reckoning.
His comeuppance.
But
On that note,
if any of you friends want to
Yeah.
be part of our Mixed Feelings Mafia or just have a question, you can email us at info@mixedfeelingspodcast.com or use the contact form on our website. That is www.mixedfeelingspodcast.com. And we need your first name and where you're from to get you a little story about how to get in the gang.
Yeah, we'll make up gang names for whoever wants to be in it. Just
Yeah.
let us know. We have a couple emails pending, so those will be on the next episode. if you want to see us do more of the bitch talk game that we did on the last episode, episode 19, here's the deal. We're happy to do more, but it's hard to come up with questions to replace the ones that we used, so we won't be able to do it often unless we have help from you guys. So, if you have an idea for one of the stunts, which was like a truth or dare style question, or a fortune, which if you recall, go back and listen to the episode because it was fucking fun.
Yeah.
But like the fortunes at the end, there's 4 categories. There's marriage, there's career, children, special events, and basically at the end we just read a little fortune from each one. So go ahead, listen to episode 19. If you have any good ideas, put them in an email, preferably, please, and email them to us or send them to us on the contact form on the website, and attach your Twitter handle and your name, and we'll basically just put them in with all the rest of them, and if we pull yours, then we'll give you credit whenever we
we'll give you credit if we use
your this one came from
idea.
such and such. So let's see, but yeah, just keep them coming, keep the questions coming, and we can play it more often. And I think we have another game in the works too.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
gonna
excited
be a
about that
surprise, but it's coming up, so we have another one coming.
So you should pretty much follow us, like us, share us, tweet us, all that good stuff on social media. Spread the word to your friends because we've gotten a lot of new listens and we haven't necessarily been doing anything different. So I'm hoping that's coming from word of mouth, which would be awesome because that's the best compliment we can get is if someone's like, hey, I like this, and tell your friends. So we're really excited about that. Mm-hmm. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, almost any podcast platform that there is.
And the Couch Party app.
Yes, we're on that too. Our Instagram is Mixed Feelings Podcast. Our Facebook is Cassie Mandy Mixed Feeling 10. Mm-hmm. And
our Twitter is at Mixed Feelings PC.
Yes.
We do have a Facebook for the podcast itself, Mixed Feelings Podcast, but we don't use that one very often. So if you're following that one, you would be best to friend us on the Cassie Mandy Mixed Feeling 10 account. Because until we have like a bajillion followers or something, it's not necessary for us to have that other one. And it's not very user friendly and we don't like it.
Yeah, because you couldn't like tag people in it or anything, so it was kind of weird to use. So we still have that one, but it's kind of just like in the background. And
that's pretty much it.
I had to make my own. I was gonna give myself a Twitter shout out, but I forget what my name is.
It's Mandy MF Podcast.
Oh
right?
yeah, it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Mandy motherfucking Podcast.
Well, Mixed Feelings Podcast. Yeah, Mandy MF Podcast because I got kicked off of our. I can still look at it because I still know the password, but I'm not usually active on that one.
I take care of that one, and Mandy has her own that she plays backup. Yeah, please go to iTunes.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on iTunes right now, it'll take you 5 seconds to click over to there and give us a rate and review, and it really helps out our show.
Yeah, it helps us with discoverability. The more ratings and reviews we get, the higher up on the list it bumps us so that more people see us that don't know about us already.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're putting up these videos as well, so you know when we posted a new one.
Yeah, go to YouTube. Watch this episode on YouTube. It's fucking cool, man.
And the comments on the last video before we took it down, like there were some really funny comments on there, so I really appreciate.
It makes me so sad that we had to take it down.
I know. I really like interacting with the people who listen though, because it's really fun, and it shows that they're like actually listening and paying attention, and that's really fun for me. So,
all right, that's about it. Thank you guys. We
Bye.
appreciate you coming.
We love
back to listen.
you.
Love you.
Have
See
a
you
great
next
week.
time.